Hello and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug, and today we're going to take another look at the Veteran, and we're going to go through a couple of weapons that people have probably been sleeping on. The current meta is very revolver and recon lasgun uh, populated at the moment, but there are quite a lot of options for you out there. Now, people have been asking me for a Cadia Mark IV assault chainsaw. A chainsword, sorry. So I've rolled one up for you folks, and this is generally how I would run it. Flak, Maniac, Shred, and Wrath. Shred for the critical chance on chained hit, and Wrath to increase your cleave, sorry, just in general. As the chainsword is a very fast weapon. And you can see the first attack is a headshot, and then the next three are a diagonal cleave, horizontal cleave, and another diagonal cleave. And all the heavy attacks are big cleaving hits. So this is actually a very good horde clear weapon. And it's incredibly fast. It is slightly worse at dealing with bulwarks and crushers compared to the power sword, but it makes up in your ability to just cleave through hordes. And with how most of my builds are made, for bulwarks and crushers, you generally have a big stockpile of grenades for that anyway, so it's not too much of a worry. So it's a very good weapon to use. I finally rolled one up for the channel. And yeah, this is how I would build it. So the other weapons that I was talking about at the start. The current meta is very based around the recon lasguns and the revolvers. But they're not the be all and end all of everything. As you've seen in the other videos, I do have a shotgun commander build. It's incredibly good. The only, I would say, downside to it is if you get caught in a reload in a very hairy situation, you do have to backpedal quite a lot. But you do have your commanding shout to make space for yourself and stagger everything around you to give you a few extra seconds to load some shells into your shotgun. And the auto pistol, it has been nerfed since patch 14. But it is still incredibly usable. And the damage you can get out of it is not as insane as it was, but it's still more than enough to get you through Damnation and Uruk difficulties without any problem. I tend to run it with Inspiring Barrage and Pinning Fire, as most of my builds are toughness focused. The Inspiring Barrage just keeps you topped up at all times. Have a little demonstration of it. So we've got ourselves some elites here, and it chews through them quite nicely. And the amount of stopping power this gun has on it is pretty silly. As you can see, it shreds through most things with little to no problem. So, what are the other ones people have been sleeping on? Well, we've got the Agrippina Mark I infantry autogun. This is, it used to be one of my favourite weapons. This is actually one of the first weapons I rolled up to Transcendent about a year ago. And I always go back to it sometimes for a little bit of a autogun play around. The biggest problem with this gun is the magazine size. If it had been buffed like most of the other guns have been, I would say this would be one of the top guns. But because it's only got a 36 round mag instead of a 50 plus like the rest of them, it does suffer from a lot of reloads. But it's slow firing compared to some of them. It hits like an absolute truck, and it is incredibly precise. But it does suffer from that reload. But it does have an incredibly long range and pretty decent stability, so you can put shots downrange pretty easily with this. So this is one of the guns I would say is being slept on at the moment. Not many people are using it, but it is very effective. It's just, it has slightly larger downsides compared to, say, the Recon lasgun. But with the recent nerf, I would say these guns are very, very usable. I mean, I've made a Vrax Mark III Headhunter guide. And just to say, you know, this is generally how I would build it, but without the Carapace Armoured, you would want a Maniac here. But I was kind of hemmed in by what it had on it. This gun is still very good. It shoots off in 3 rounds bursts. If the first shot crits, the other 2 shots in the burst will also crit. You've got a nice amount of ammo in there. Very stable. And you can build it to be an absolute crit machine. But the gun, for some reason, has gone out of fashion in the current meta. It seems a lot of the auto guns aren't really being looked at. But the Vrax Mark III is still incredibly good. And one last one that I'd say is also being overlooked is the Colonus Mark V infantry autogun. So it's very much like the Agrippina Mark I, but it fires a lot faster and has a much higher mag well. But it is slightly more prone to get done in by recoil. But as you can see, it does tend to drift up and to the left slightly. You just compensate for that by drawing back on the mouse slightly. And this thing absolutely shreds. And even on hip fire, the damage is just very good. And this is a very poorly rolled version. As you can see, it's a 370. I've changed nothing with the perks or blessings. It's literally as it came. You can roll this to have Flak and Maniac. And I don't know what other blessings you want it. Probably Fire Frenzy and Dum Dum for close range damage. And this will be a very good short to mid range auto gun. But it's not really talked about in any of the metas. So don't be fooled when all you're seeing is recon builds or revolver builds. They are very good weapons, and I'm not saying they aren't. But there are more weapons in the repertoire that are very good that aren't really talked about. So give them a go. The Shredder Auto Pistol, the Agrippina Mark I Infantry Autogun, the Vrax Mark III Headhunter, or the Columnus Mark V Infantry Autogun. Give them a try, and you know, let me know what you think. Which, you know, if you guys really enjoy the guns, I will make a specific build to work with these. At the moment, I'm still using my general purpose voice command grenade build with all of the rending. This has been basically my pug carry build for the last week. Yeah, please do try these weapons out and let me know what you think, because they are being slept on. They're not talked about very much, but they have an awful lot to offer. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you do, please like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. It really does help us out. Until next time, take it easy, and I shall see you later.